At this time, it's my pleasure to introduce Sean McTighe, who will present our first inductee. Sean is the Assistant Head of School for Athletics and Wellness. Sean, please come.
I gotta find my page, sorry. Welcome everyone. We began the Alumni Athletic Hall of Fame just a few short years ago in 2011. As a result, we missed the chance to honor some of the most illustrious student athletes from days gone by. An example of this is our first inductee of the evening, Shorty McMillan, who unfortunately passed away in 1964. Let me begin by explaining that Neil was an outstanding athlete and student at Detroit University School, from which he graduated in 1908. Judging by his nickname, he was small in stature, which is not a bad thing. But just under his senior picture, you'll find the following quote: "Not by his size, but by his disposition is he judged." I think we can safely assume, based on this description, that he was a terrific guy, and the fact that they called him Shorty. And we know, based on our historical information, that he was also a terrific athlete. He played many sports at DUS, including shortstop on the baseball team, left wing on the hockey team, and he was even the secretary of the athletic association. But it was his time on the DUS football team that we're going to highlight tonight, because he, under the tutelage of legendary DUS athletic director and football coach E.L. Knickerbocker, pioneered the use of the forward pass in football. It's hard to imagine the game without the forward pass, but back in the early days of football, they kicked and ran the ball to get it down the field. It was famous Knickerbocker who came up with a scheme to use this innovative forward pass in 1906, the year it was legalized. Said Coach Knickerbocker, in general, the conclusion that the pass was too hazardous. The majority of coaches thought it better to hang on to the ball rather than throw it around. I found myself an exception, because when I arrived at DUS, team material was a little on the light side. I realized if we were going to win, we'd have to result in unorthodox methods. So I stressed the pass. No one scored against them that year. In the next 3 years, Knickerbocker observed, we had one of those cycles in which our team material was unusually good. This, of course, was when Shorty stepped onto the field and led them to victory. For example, in his senior year, the DUS team rolled up 465 points in 295 season game time minutes, statistically beating Fielding Yost's U of M famous point-a-minute football team of the same era. By the way, the total opposition points that year came to a total of a whopping 15. One game in particular was against East Bay City High, and the DUS team beat them 160-0. They were okay. At one point, the Michigan Agricultural School, now known as MSU, asked to play the team. And after repeated asks, Coach Knickerbocker agreed to it. With Shorty throwing those newfangled passes, DUS beat the college team by 2 touchdowns. After DUS, Shorty went to University of Michigan, where, in 1909, he led the freshman team to an undefeated season and developed a reputation as an exceptional quarterback. By his sophomore year, Shorty started all 6 games for Michigan in the 1910 season, in which the Wolverines went undefeated. Coach Yost said of him, he never had a man handle the work in that position as well as did McMillan in his first year. His accomplishments were considered all the more impressive when it was discovered that he had played the hardest home games of the 1910 season with a broken shoulder. In the final game of the 1910 season, Michigan defeated University of Minnesota 6-0, as 2 beautifully executed forward passes from McMillan to left end Stanley Borleski won the game. In his junior year, he led the Wolverines to a 4-0 start in the first 4 games of the season, outscoring the opposition 67-11, including a 19-0 shutout against Ohio State. That hurts. McMillan sustained a dislocated knee during a practice scrimmage in early November 1911, and James Craig was forced to take over the quarterback spot. A newspaper report in late November indicated that McMillan was still on the hospital list. Without McMillan in the starting lineup, the Wolverines went 1-1-2 in the final 4 games of the season. In a career shortened by injury, McMillan started only 10 games at quarterback, but never lost a game he started. As you can see, Shorty is more than worthy of being inducted into our school's Athletic Hall of Fame. And here to accept the award on Shorty's behalf is our current football team quarterback, Connor McCarron, who has thrown many a successful forward pass.
Hello, I'm Connor McCarron. On behalf of football quarterbacks everywhere, I'd like to thank Shorty and Coach Knickerbocker for using and promoting this important football move. I'm honored to accept this award on behalf of this great player, and from now on, I will always think of Shorty and the huge contribution he made to football when I play the game myself. This will be especially tomorrow at our homecoming game. I'll see you tomorrow, and thank you.